February is over and you may be feeling like a survivor. February was not easy. Some difficult energy came up for a lot of people. I'm going to tell you more about that in just a minute and share some thoughts on what might be coming in March. I also have the frequencies from my last Metatron channeling to share with you and a message from a Pleiadian about the energy of March and how we can best work with it. Hi, I'm Paige. I'm an energy healer and a channel, and this is your March energy update. Before I go any further, please do take a moment to like and subscribe if you enjoy this content. I really do appreciate it. I can't get into the energy of March without first going back over February, and wow, was it challenging. So a lot of people had big challenges come up, big unexpected changes that may have really changed the trajectory of their lives. Lots of confusion and tense situations, frustration, just a lot of difficulty. So you may have experienced that probably about the last couple weeks of February when it really ramped up and became the most intense. What I can say about that is that there were some silver linings. So here's what you want to keep in mind. You were being challenged probably with some of your biggest patternings, some of your biggest difficulties in life. Things that are maybe constant challenges for you and have been for a long time may have been really pushed in the month of February. What's happening there is that it's coming to the surface. It's coming to the surface so it can be released. We are having a lot of internal structural changes happening. This is something that's come up from the guides often over the last few months, but particularly right now. It was mentioned in the last Metatron channeling. The energetic structures around us are changing quickly, and our internal energetic structures are also changing in order to keep pace. We've got to move. What that means is that there's a breakdown of your internal energetic structures. Now, if you're not familiar with energy, here's how to think of that. All of your past traumas, your hurts, all the difficult things that can get triggered, all your baggage, all of that stuff is held in your energy system somewhere. That's usually held in patterning. So when we have this breakdown of structures, that means your old patterning is getting pushed. It's like there's pressure on those patterns. They've got to break down. They've got to break down so that you can move into a new place. As we are in this collective awakening, this process that all of us are in, we're all getting the push. So this breakdown is releasing a lot of the old stuff that's in there. And then on top of it, we've just got some crazy energy that's been coming through that's not easy to deal with in general. It's fast-paced. It's bringing up things that have to be done right away, have to be dealt with right away. And there's a lot of pressure there, and it's triggering all of this old stuff. So it's like one giant mix that is not easy to deal with. So that's what February was. The good news is that things are smoothing out now. So this first week of March has been much easier. It has felt much smoother. Even if you're still dealing with the effects of something difficult that came up in February, you should be feeling like you've moved into a new place. And I think a lot of people that I've talked to have felt like the challenges they faced actually were beneficial in a way because it pushed them into a new place, which is obviously what evolution and our own evolutionary processes is all about. It's about releasing all those old patterns and the blocks and moving into a new place. According to the guides, we're all moving into a higher place. So we'll talk more about that in just a minute. But this is the perspective that you want to keep on these things. So if you are dealing with something that came up with you during that time and it's still sitting with you, acknowledge it. Acknowledge that this is your challenge that's come to the surface. And it's coming up so that you can work with it, so that you can move through it, so you can move past it. So there's a good silver lining here if you can open up to it. Okay, so let's talk about the frequencies that came in the last Metatron channeling. Now this is the monthly channeling that I hold on the Insight timer. It's free, it's open to everyone. If you'd like to join that, you can. It's a channeling and frequency transmission. There are always 3 specific frequencies that come through. I tell you what they are before we go into the channeling. In the last one, the frequency that was really prominent was about spiraling, interconnected spirals of light and establishing a higher order. So the theme was about establishing a higher order, and the frequencies were about these propulsion of energy, interconnected spirals of light, and the establishing of a higher geometric order. You can find the recording of that channeling here on my YouTube channel. I'll put a link in the description below. You'll also find all of the other channelings I've done every month on the Insight Timer here. They do have ads. I can't do anything about that, but know that when you listen, you are still going to receive that frequency. So if you're listening after the fact, you're still going to get that frequency that's coming in. They're interacting with you. It's a conscious frequency that comes through and interacts with you. There is a link in each one of those where you can sign up for my email list and you'll receive a bundle of 3 channelings that don't have any ads. So you do have that option. And one thing that was emphasized in the message of that last channeling in February with Metatron was this shift in the internal structures, and that this is an uncomfortable process for us. So we're going to feel a little out of sorts. We're not going to feel like ourselves. We are going to face some difficulties. It's just like, it's like we're being pushed and pulled and squeezed and molded into new energetic forms. And these are going to be better forms. They will feel better once we're there, once this process is complete, but it's not an easy process to go through. Last month, we had a message from an Arcturian, and that was very helpful in understanding the energies and how to deal with them. So it's less about the sort of dynamics of the energy and more about the human experience of going through that dynamic and what we can do to deal with it. So if you missed that one, go back to the January energy update. It's at the end of the update. I tell you what the message from the Arcturian is. It might still be really helpful for you to hear that. This month, we've got a message from a Pleiadian. Same kind of thing. It's about how to deal with the energies that we're going to have in March. Go slowly, as you will need to take time to evaluate the changes in your life. Do not rush into anything right now, for it may change drastically before its time is due. Remember that you are light beings undergoing an extreme shift in your light body, one that requires energy and will leave you feeling out of sorts and more tired than usual. Please rest as needed. You will have another surge of fast-moving energy similar to what you experienced in February near the end of the month of March. So prepare now for this change by resting as much as possible and taking your time in your decision-making. I can only imagine that they're referring to the eclipses that are coming. We have the first eclipse on March 25th, that's a full moon. The second eclipse is on April 8th, that's a new moon. These are going to be really intense times energetically, particularly in April. So let's use this time now to rest, recuperate, appreciate, and acknowledge the changes that you went through, the obstacles that you may have overcome, and the growth that you had as a result. And allow yourself to take your time. Take your time as you move into the new phase. Don't feel like you need to rush out and change things in your life right away. Know that this is a nice slow period and it is going to pick back up. So it may be challenging again in the same way. And this is a nice time to prepare mentally and emotionally for that. Thanks for joining me. Again, please do like and subscribe if you enjoyed the content, and have a great month. I'll see you next month.